Hello everyone, I'm Crow77, and today we're doing a case study on a league I played in, and all the perspectives and considerations to look at going into the last round of a league or tournament. We'll also get into one hand and decide whether or not to reach in a couple different spots from a couple different perspectives. If you're not interested in the full tournament background and just want to get into the hands, there's a timestamp in the description to skip ahead to that section. Recently, I played in a 16-week league called the Jinja Cup. There were 40 teams, only one of which was from outside China, ours. We ended up making it all the way to the finals, and I was playing in the last match of the entire league. And in that last match, it all came down to just one hand to decide our final placement. I want to take a look at two critical decisions made in this game, one by one of my opponents, and one by me. But even before that, in tournaments and leagues like this, especially in the late rounds, the most critical thing to understand is the point situation. Tournaments typically have an UMA, and may also have an OKA. An UMA is relatively simple. It's a bonus based on how well you performed in the given match. A typical UMA in North American tournaments that usually use WRC rules is a 15-5 UMA. That means first place will effectively get 15,000 points just for winning, or fourth will get minus 15,000 points for losing. This may seem like a lot, but because of the linear nature of it, it's fairly typical to make solid EV plays without going too aggressive, more or less standard Mahjong. However, the Jinja Cup not only took this UMA and doubled it to 30-10, but they also added an OKA. An OKA is a winning bonus for placing in first. In this case, each player contributes 5,000 points to allow the winner to have a bonus of an additional 20,000. So, the overall bonus in the Jinja Cup looked like this, ranging from plus 45 for first or minus 35 for fourth. This creates a bit of a skew, where going from second to first gains as many points as you would lose going from second to fourth. This means that first is extremely important to posting a good score, and heavily aggressive play is rewarded much more in this kind of format. So here's the point situation. We currently have a score of almost 220,000, and we're in third place. From our perspective, first and fourth are too far away from us to close the gap this match, unless something absolutely crazy happens. However, because of the large UMA and OKA we just talked about, if we get first and the players in second get last, we only need a score difference of 4,000 points to overtake them. It's fairly difficult to plan this perfectly, so we typically just look at opportunities to make this happen, as opposed to forcing it. Also, we have to know that second is behind first almost as much as fourth is behind us. We can expect them to play safely to make sure that we do not overtake them, unless they happen to pull far out ahead and get a chance at first. So, as we mentioned on the previous slide, we want to gain 84,000 points total, counting the UMA and OKA bonuses over the player to our left. We are actually in a great spot to do this right now. Any 1,000 point hand puts us into first, and we're looking at a pinfu hand right now. Another consideration though, do we still reach here? What are the benefits and disadvantages? Many times in a game, one of the biggest advantages to declaring reach is that it causes other players to give up their hands and fold. That's absolutely ideal for us here. If everyone folds, even with spending 1,000 on the reach stick, we'll still end up first. With this tournament's rules, we'll get our reach stick back too for finishing in first, so there's no loss in points there. If the player to our left also makes it to Tenpai, we'll both gain 15,000 or 1,000 points depending on who's in Tenpai, and they'll no longer be in last place. So over the board, I decided to declare reach to give my opponent the opportunity to make the mistake of folding and not be in Tenpai at the end of the hand. However, there's one big aspect that I did not consider. The player to our right's in last place. They don't really have much to worry about because they can't lose any rank or anything like that at this point, but they're likely to take a long shot Yakuman attempt, trying to cause some kind of upset. So, if they get anywhere near one, they're pretty likely to discard dangerously, since they have nothing else to lose at this point. If my hand was just pinfu, that would be fine. It still gives me the 1,000 points needed to win the game and take second place. Even reach pinfu is okay, as that's only 2,000 points. The problem is the Uradora. Hitting one Uradora is roughly 30 to 35% with a hand like this. So if I hit an Uradora, that would bring my hand value to 3,900, and it would knock them to last place, which effectively gains the player to our left 20,000 points, ruining our chances for an upset. Because the likelihood of this is relatively high on a deal-in, the benefit of the reach is far outweighed by the risk. So we should not reach this hand. Right after that reach was declared, the player to our left is looking at this hand. Like ours, this hand is pinfu, but it also has 2 Dora. That brings the total score for this hand to 3,900 points. By itself, that's more than enough points to take first place on a win, especially with the reach on the table. Now with another player reaching already, the benefits that we discussed getting other players to fold are minimal. Unlike the last one, we don't have to worry about scoring too many points or moving someone else a place. Our main objective here should be to get out of last. With the huge gulf between us and first, this hand won't be enough to take over, so scoring bonus points on top of that isn't really necessary. So let's look at the downsides in this situation. There's only one main point to consider. If we declare reach, our current point total goes down to 21,600. That means that if this game goes to Ryukyoku, the penalty payments will no longer be enough to get us out of last place. This is an absolutely catastrophic loss, considering how late in the hand it already is. On top of that, we lose a little flexibility, such as being able to fold if we draw tiles that we strongly believe are going to deal in and try to rebuild our tenpai later. So I believe this decision is even easier than the last one. We absolutely should not reach in this situation. This hand goes to Ryukyoku quite a lot of the time with how late these reaches are coming out, so we don't want to take the risk of losing in that situation. So how did this go in the end? Well, let's just say, despite all the mistakes we just reviewed, my team was pretty happy with the outcome. Just remember, especially late in the game, always consider the effects that your reach has, whether it'll be enough points to overtake, and what the downsides are. That way, you can avoid making the same mistake I did here, even if I didn't end up being punished for it. As always, thanks for watching. If you have any feedback, topic ideas, or issues, please let me know. If you want notifications of when I post a new video, hit the subscribe button. Have a good one.